$488,000. Hopefully, if you own a Lamborghini Aventador, you can spend that kind of money without thinking too hard. I, on the other hand, do not own this shining new Aventador at all, but am responsible for its care during a 1-week, 700-mile road trip to Las Vegas. Driving something more closely related to a fighter plane than a car may seem daft on the Stelvio Pass, but here in Death Valley, a plane without wings is exactly what you need. This is 700 horsepower worth of carbon fiber madness that makes sense to no one and everyone at the same time. You'll also need FedEx, since you can't actually fit cameras and clothes in the Aventador. So in addition to the $488,000, tack on $135 for shipping and handling. How excited am I to drive the Aventador? I have been waiting, sometimes patiently, sometimes impatiently, for upwards of 2 years to drive this thing, and I finally have one. The Gallardo is nice, but there is nothing in the entire world like a V12 powered Lamborghini. They're all amazing. The Countach, the Diablo, the Merce, and now this. I don't like to talk about styling too much, but in my humble opinion, this is currently the best looking car you can buy at any price anywhere in the world. It is staggeringly good looking from every angle. It looks like a stealth fighter, and that theme is so repetitive throughout the whole car. This is not a very good car, but it is an amazing airplane. It does 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. It tops out at over 200 miles an hour, well over in fact, and it's the best. It's ridiculous. $488,000 of V12 Italian awesome. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yes, listen to that. Oh, I gotta have Mr. Ticket on speed dial with this car. This is a bad motherfucker. What's really interesting is that people were worried that this car would become too much Audi. It would work too well, it would be too good. And Lamborghini wants me to tell you about how practical it is and how easy it is to use on a daily basis. The fact of the matter is, right now, we are somewhere in the desert of Nevada, and the navigation system thinks we're in El Monte, California. It doesn't connect to my Bluetooth phone properly, and the iPod interface in the glove box only fits an iPhone 4, and of course you then have to put it in the glove box. If I plug in a USB, it doesn't work. So in actuality, the Audi stuff in here doesn't work so great, but the Lamborghini stuff works really good. Listen. So let's talk about what your nearly $500,000 actually does get you. I mentioned the V12, which makes every bit of 700 horsepower, probably more. I wouldn't be surprised if they were sandbagged. It's got a 7-speed gearbox. It uses what they call independent shifting rods. I don't know what that means, but it's not as smooth as a dual clutch, but they want it that way. They actually engineered in emotion, for lack of a better word, which is why when I go into Corsa mode, which is the fastest mode, and drop a gear and wind it out, when you shift, that kick that you want from a Lambo, boom, boom. You know, I just drove the new Porsche 911 last week, and there's zero interruption of torque when you shift. That is great for a car that you can drive every day, go to the track. This is a once-in-a-while car, so they want to really crank up that emotion, that vigor, and they certainly do. It's a missile that you can drive. That's what it's for. It's for going stupendously fast, whether from a standstill or from a... Speaking of standstill, it's about that time, isn't it? I will demonstrate. What I love is an easy launch control system, and in the Lambo, it's super easy. Just put it in Corsa mode, turn off stability control, left foot on the brake, it says thrust mode active on the indicator there. Wind it up, and then go.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
That is very fast. The digital gauges, which actually kind of look like Koenigsegg's a bit, are really cool. I love that they're totally unashamedly Italian. I'm glad I know what olio means. Temp aqua is a nice thing to see here. The fuel economy gauge, which says consumo, is shown in liters per 100 kilometers, and it shows the only two actual numbers that it shows are 0 and 100. And a bar just moves around, but it spends a lot more time down at 0 than it does at 100. At this point, you might be wondering, why are you driving a stock Aventador to Las Vegas with Thaddeus? Well, we're going to SEMA, and I've been asked to judge the GT Awards, and for some reason, I'm judging the SUV and truck category. So I expect to see lots of bead lockers, LED lights, and monster logos.
277 miles covered in record time later, we arrived in Las Vegas for the world's largest show. The world's largest car show. SEMA has everything, and I mean that quite literally. From Chinese manufactured tires, to engine hoists, superchargers, to wide-body Ferrari 458s. It's where anything aftermarket goes to be shown, marketed, and sold. Just like last year, the most popular cars are the 86 Twins, Mustangs, Camaros, and for this year, the C7 Corvette. We can all thank RWB for making the retro racer look cool again. Every single car this year had bolted-on fender flares, even some cars that absolutely shouldn't. But I was here to look for trucks, and more specifically, quote, which truck I'd like to most drive in a video game. Bro trucks were obviously out, as were all Jeep Wranglers, which seemed to be all modified in the exact same way. Some of the vintage pickups caught our eye, as well as a few crazy Baja buggies with monster engines. But ultimately, it was this, the backup pickup, that we couldn't stop staring at. Built by Dave Schutten of Galpin Autosports, it's a recreation of a famous wheel stander from the late 1960s. Under the bed is an alcohol-injected 427 side oiler making 1,000 horsepower at the wheels. Under the front back bumper is a titanium skid plate designed for shooting sparks as it wheelies its way down the track. Since the front wheels are up in the air the entire time, you steer it tank style with two independent handbrakes on the console. Dave says he's both terrified and excited to drive it, and that it shoots a 4-foot flame when you start it up. Plus, you have to drive it completely hanging out the window. If that doesn't sound like it would be a properly good time in real life or in a video game, I don't know what is. Taking an Aventador to Vegas is certainly a unique experience. You're balling out of control, yet your neck and back are in constant pain. It's a circus wherever you go, but for everyone who gives you a smile, a thumbs up, or takes a picture, there's someone who thinks you owe them something because your car is worth more than their house. One woman gave me her number in 15 seconds. The other thought I should fill her gas tank because I, quote, I know you got it. In the end, the Lamborghini Aventador does not make a particularly good car. But out here where it belongs, in the wide open Nevada desert, all by yourself, it makes a fantastic airplane. It even comes with its own baggage handlers.
Here for the bag.